Okay, in this video, I want to talk about how our family uses the credit card, right? Long story short, we pretty much do everything as a family, try to do everything in an organized fashion. A credit card is no different, right? So we are aware that individuals can have credit cards, but a lot of people are, and more people are now aware that you can add what's called authorized users to your credit card, right? So one of the things that we do is we have one main credit card account, and then everybody else in the family is given a credit card because they're added to that main credit card account as an authorized user, right? So just real quick, so Amex Platinum, this is which is the card that we use. If you are not familiar with how this works, some people are definitely not familiar with the fact that you're actually allowed up to 99 users to one Amex Platinum card account. You can repeat, you can add 99 people to one credit card account, and clearly this is something that is meant for people who work in groups in order to accomplish things. So there are a lot of people out there who are aware of authorized users and some of the benefits of being authorized users, but I imagine not very many people I encounter when I talk to them about this are aware of the fact that you can literally add almost 100 people to one credit card and have the family using that credit card as one centralized place to track expenses, etc. Okay, so yeah, that's what we do. So the first thing to notate is every time that we have a new family member come into the arrangement of being organized with us, one of the first things that we do is give them a credit card. So everybody in the family has a credit card. Okay. Now, the reason this, so first I'm going to talk about the procedures, then I'll talk a little bit about the benefits of why we do stuff like that, and then I'll talk about how we mitigate risks or whether or not there are risks related to this situation. Okay. So long story short, what I'm about to say now is nothing new, So let's imagine that this is a budget, like we say, income, expenses, etc., and what's left over every month. So long story short, when we're talking about a credit card and we're talking about using a credit card, we're basically talking about the expense section of your budget, right? Now the question is, not even the question, the procedure boils down to how do people pay for their expenses. Now, one thing is for sure, we do not create new bills just because we have a credit card. A credit card is just our method of payment, but we do not create new bills just because we have a credit card. What I mean by that is this. These are the monthly bills, right? The only thing that we do differently from most people is instead of paying our monthly bill with cash or with a debit card, etc., we pay as much as we can using the credit card. And there are benefits to doing so, and I will get into some of those benefits before the end of this video. But first, just drive home the point that almost every bill that we have is paid with a credit card, right? Now, there are some bills, of course, sometimes your mortgage or your rent will fall into this category. Some bills, either you, one, cannot pay with a credit card, or two, should not pay with a credit card because the cost and benefits does not add up. What I mean by that is sometimes when you pay certain things with a credit card, you have a service charge, and sometimes that service charge can be so large that it doesn't make sense to pay for that expense using a credit card, right? But for the most part, there are a few things that fall into that category. But for the most part, most of our bills, most of the bills that anybody can rack up, can be paid relatively straightforward fashion with a credit card, right? So all of our bills, the ones that I'm saying all of our bills, but like I said, some of them won't be able to be paid. But all of our bills, for the most part, are paid with this credit card. Now, the question is as a part of the procedure, we definitely don't rack up credit card debt. What happens is you've probably heard this before if you know anything about the credit cards or strategy using the credit card. What we do is we pay all of our expenses on the credit card, but at the end of the month, we pay it off with cash, right? So as much as we can, we swipe the credit card throughout the month, swipe the credit card throughout the month, and then at the end of the month, we pay off the credit card balance. Now, what this allows us to do is, one, avoid having any interest payments due. That avoids us running up any debt in general, right? So, like we said, the credit card is just used as a method of payment, but we do not rack up a whole bunch of debt just because we use a credit card. Now, another question may be, what is the benefit of doing that? Well, you can kind of look up on the internet. I just looked up this random article. There are many benefits for doing things the way that we do them. First thing I want to focus on is the fact that we the fact that you add an authorized user to the account in general, right? And when you add an authorized user, if you look here, this question says, do authorized users build credit for being an authorized user on someone else's card? And the answer is yes. Authorized users' cards will report on the authorized user's credit report. Long story short, everybody in the family will get to build up credit reporting history just by the fact that there are listed as an authorized user on that credit card, right? So that is probably the biggest benefit that we will say that comes from that, because even when I think the minimum age is 13 for the Amex Platinum. It could be a different age for someone else, but even once these kids in our family turn 13, we give them a card. We create them a card account depending on whether or not the kid is responsible enough. We may or may not give them the actual physical card, but each kid will get an account created and opened in their name, so that from the time that they're 13 until the time that they are, say, 22 and graduated from college, they will be building up credit as one of the authorized users on this credit card, which is a great benefit. Okay, so that's that. Now let's see. So yes, so as you can see, so another thing's like just in general, like these credit cards have many benefits for using them, right? Like even the title of this article is 16 benefits for adding authorized users to the card, right? Long story short, I'm not going to go through this article. I'm not even sure who wrote this article, but the point is, you can find a million articles on the same topic. The point is, there are a lot of benefits for having a credit card there, and all of these benefits, most of these benefits can be enhanced with by having more people listed on the card. What I'm saying is, as opposed to being one individual with one credit card, by adding authorized users to the card, you can rack up these benefits and these points a lot more quickly than the individual could. And you got to kind of contrast that too. You can go out on the internet right now and see some of the crazy stuff that people do in order to try to rack up credit card points. I don't even have to go into detail. Just if you care to know, go look. But long story short, we don't have to do any of that silly stuff, any of that crazy stuff. Like, we're able, just by working as a team, we're able to build up a lot of points, a lot of benefits from using the credit card as a team, right? I'll give you an example, right? So let's say, for instance, this is a average budget, right? Let's say, for instance, this is an average budget, and let's say, for instance, we got 20 family members who have a similar budget, who have this budget, right? So this is the average budget, and we got 20 family members. I'm just gonna keep it simple down here. Basically, if one family member is spending here the total expenses, if one family member is spending $3,000 on their expenses, then if we got 20 family members, equal 20 times this number, and that's 61,000. 61,000 between 20 family members. This would be $61,000 swiped on that credit card per month, right? Every month, right? And this same amount is being paid off every month. So this is the process of building credit, by that revolving credit. Like, you're always swiping, and then you're always paying it back down to zero. Then the next month you do the same thing over and over again. This is a benefit for everybody who is on that card, and it allows everybody to build their credit up, right? Just to put that in perspective, if I multiply, so this is the monthly number for 20 family members. If I multiply this by 12 equals 12 times this number, then you get to see how crazy it gets to looking, right? This would be $700,000 swiped on a credit card over the time period of a year. And this is for 20 family members. If you have 50 family members or 100 family members, like we say here, these people say you can have up to 99 people. That's basically 100 people on a credit card. So you can just imagine if you did have 100 people. Let me go here. Instead of 20 people, put 100. Yeah, and these people will be swiping $300,000 per month of expenses on the card, and then that's $3.6 million of expenses per year. These numbers only become realistic when you have a big group of people working as a unit in order to do this stuff. And like I say, the reason you do that is to help people build credit, and you also get to rack up these points. Like, there's different things that you can redeem points on. Flights is something that is very common that people usually do, redeem their points on credit card points, flight miles, whatever the case may be. But the point is, you get 1 point. You get 1 point for every dollar that you spend, and sometimes, depending on what you spend the money on, the points that you get are 2 times points, 3 times points. There's even some things you can spend money on and you get 5 times points. But you can imagine a family working together, swiping $3.6 million per year on that credit card and carrying no balance though, because we're paying this off every month. We swipe $306,000 in January, then we pay it off at the end of January. Swipe $306,000 in February, then we pay it off at the end of February. So we're never carrying any balance. All we're doing is racking up the points, right? And so this gets to be a very powerful thing when the family is working together to do this. So those are the 2 main benefits. Everybody who's listed as an authorized user is building up their credit history, and they're building it up with a large volume of swipes, a large high amount of dollar amount for the swipes. So that's a good thing. Second thing is we're actually racking up points, things that you can do with those swipes, right? So like I say, down here, it's $3.6 million per year. This gets to be a pretty crazy thing when you get a family working together in order to build up these swipes together. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about before I wrap up the video is the risk. So long story short, we don't have very much risk because for a couple of reasons. I mean, the risk would be you can look up the risk for adding an authorized user to your credit card account, because in general there are some risks, but in our system there's pretty much that risk is pretty much non-existent. For one reason, we have a different mindset. Like the people who are here in our family, we're here to build together. Nobody is here to try to do slick stuff, to try to do things that are to their advantage and to the detriment of the family. Like first and foremost, our first risk management procedure is to only have people involved in our situation who are team oriented. So we're not worried about individuals trying to do slick stuff. Second thing is, even though the authorized users, like the American Express is what they call a charge card, right? It is a card that does not have a limit, but the main account holder can place a limit, is a self-imposed limit on any individual authorized user, right? So we may have a family member. Let's say, for instance, one of the things that we do is, let's say, for instance, this budget represents the budget of one of the family members, right? What we would do is, okay, your total expenses are $3,000 per month. Well, what we would do is put a limit on that card of like $3,500 per month. And that way this person, the amount of money that they could charge on that card is closely related to the amount of their monthly expenses reported on their budget. This is part of what I mean by having a total system. Like part of our system is collecting this budget. Because we collect this budget, we know what our family members' expenses are. Because we know what our family members' expenses are, we can set a reasonable limit on their individual card. So we're not really worried about anybody going crazy on the card, okay? Another reason that we're not really worried is, as you can see here in our family, people have income, people have expenses, right? And then after you pay all your expenses, let me get rid of this. After you pay all of your expenses, what you have left over is this net disposable income. Well, in our family, this net disposable income is going towards investments. What that means is every member in our family has some money tied up in investments, has some money tied up in savings, stocks. It's in our family capital, in our family pool of capital. So if a person really, if it came down to it, if somebody played games with the credit card, ran the credit card up and didn't pay it back, then we have access to other ways to make sure that money gets paid, that bill gets paid. So long story short, we have set up a system that allows us to mitigate the risk. Not that the risks don't exist, because in general they do, but we have done things to make sure that they don't exist. So that's pretty much how the credit card works for us. Okay. Yep.